Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at factorising difficult quadratic expressions. And for you to be successful at factorising quadratic expressions, you need to be able to find factors of a number. So for example, factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5 and 10. So you do need to be confident with your times tables. And then you also need to be confident at adding and subtracting with negative numbers. Okay, so I will be looking at 4 different examples. Pause at every stage, write down notes, have a go at them by yourselves, and then look at the answers. Okay, so example number 1. Obviously, everyone's got different methods. I'm only going to show you my method. So normally quadratic expressions are written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. A is known as the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is your constant. Okay, so this is your example number 1 where we need to factorize 2x squared plus 9x plus 10. Okay, so your first step is identify your a, b and c. So in this case, a is 2, b is 9 and c is 10. What we need from this is we need your AC and we need to know what B is. So AC, obviously in algebra, AC means A times C. So 2 times C, or 2 times 10, is 20. And B, you just rewrite your B, it's 9. Okay, so this is what's going to be important. We then need the factors of 20 that will also add up to give you 9. So factors of 20, if we write them in pairs, so let's write it here. You've got 1 and 20 because 1 times 20 is 20. You've got 2 and 10. You've got 4 and 5. And these are the only factors of 20. Now, all of these multiply to give you 20, but we need the pair of factors that will also give you the 9 over here. So 1 and 20 is 21, so that's not it. 2 and 10 will give you 12, not it. 4 and 5 will add up to give you the 9. So this is what we are going to use. Okay? So what we do at this stage, or what I do at this stage, is I rewrite my expression 2x squared. But instead of the 9x, I'm now going to write it as 4x plus 5x. Okay, so I'm breaking it down into 2 different terms. And if you look at it, 4x plus 5x is still going to give you that 9x plus 10. Okay, so this is what I do. Now, you can write it in any way around. It is fine. I've chosen to write the 4 because 4 is a multiple of 2 and so is 2. And then 5 is a multiple of 5 and so is 10. And you will understand why in a second. So after that, I'm going to split this in half. Okay, there we go. So there's one section here and another section on the right. And what we are going to do is factorize the left-hand side and the right-hand side separately. So what's common to 2x squared and 4x? Well, if you look at the 2 and the 4, 2 is common. X squared and x is common. So you are left with x, and if you look at it, 2x times x is 2x squared, plus 2, because 2x times 2 is 4x. And on this side, well, we've got the plus, 5 is common to both. There's no x in 10, therefore x is not common to both. So you're left with x plus 2. What do you notice about this line? Can you see the x plus 2 here and the x plus 2 there? Those 2 brackets need to be identical. If they're not the same on either side, then there is a mistake somewhere, okay? And then your final stage is basically you put the loose ones together into one bracket. And then the one that is the same on both sides become your second bracket. And there's your answer. And obviously, always check if your answer is right or wrong, if you've got spare time in an exam. multiply out and see whether you end up with 2x squared plus 9x plus 10. Okay, so that's your example number 1. We are now going to look at example number 2, where we need to factorise 5x squared plus 13x plus 6. Again, first step, identify your A, B and C. So if you want me to rewrite it, ax squared plus bx plus c. So that's how generally a quadratic expression looks like. So A in this case is 5, B is 13 and C is 6. Remember, we then want AC. So AC, 5 times 6 is 30. And then B is 13. Okay, so now that I've given you this information, why don't you pause it and have a look at whether you can continue with the rest if you remember example 1. Okay, otherwise obviously unpause it and then continue listening. So at this stage, remember we need factors of 30. So we've got 1 and 30, we've got 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and finally we've got 5 and 6. Remember, we need to pick the pair that's going to give us 13. Okay, so 1 and 30 is 31, 2 and 15 is 17, 3 and 10 gives you 13, 5 and 6 gives you 11. So this is what we're going to use. Okay, so remember we're going to rewrite the expression 5x squared, but instead of the 13x, we're going to use the 3 and the 10, and it's still going to give you that 13x. And have a look at how I'm writing 10x this time and then the 3 afterwards, because I know 10 is a multiple of 5, they go together, so it'll be easy for us to factorise. But by all means, you can put 3x and 10x afterwards, it will still work out the same way. And then plus 6, because that was our last term. Okay, then we're going to split in 2. There we go. And think about what we're doing next. What do we do next? Yep, we factorise both sides separately. So in this case, we've got 5 that's common to both, and then we've got x that's common to both. So then you're left with x plus 2. And then over here, 3 is common to both, and then you've got x plus 2. Notice how x plus 2 is on both sides. And then your final step, you put the loose ones together. So that's going to be 5x plus 3. And then you put the orange bit together. So that's going to give you x plus 2. And that's your final answer. Okay. And then remember, you can always multiply it out to check that it does give you 5x squared plus 13x plus 6. And that's example 2. Okay, let's have a look at example number 3. Example number 3 is factorising 3x squared plus 8x minus 3. Step 1, identify your A, B and C. So A is 3, B is 8 and C is negative 3. So be careful, we're now starting to have negative terms. Okay, so then remember we also need now our AC and we need B. B is 8, simple. AC, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So remember the rules. Positive times a positive is positive. A negative times a negative is also positive. But if you've got two different signs, either positive times negative or negative times positive, then your answer is going to be negative. Okay? We then need to write the factors of negative 9. Okay, we want negative 9, not just 9, negative 9. So let's write the factors first. So it's either 1 and 9, so in which case it's either minus 1 and positive 9, or positive 1 and negative 9. Okay? Or it's 3 and -3. Okay, right. Which one of this is going to give me a positive 8? -1 plus 9 is positive 8. +1 minus 9 will give you -8, and that will give you 0. So it's obviously this option that I'm going to go with, okay, because we want positive 8. So then step 3, we are now going to rewrite this. So you've got 3x squared, but instead of writing positive 8x, I'm now going to use these. I'm going to write plus 9x minus x. So remember, minus 1x is the same as minus x minus 3. What's that next step? Yep, we're going to split those, and then we're going to factorize both sides. So the 3 is common to 3 and 9, because the factors are 3 and 9, and then x is also common to both. You're left with x plus 3. And on this side, we're going to write minus 1, because minus is common to both. Only 1 is common to both. And then you're left with x plus 3. Okay, look how this is the same as that. And these are your loose items. So then, to write your final answer, you're going to put 3x minus 1 into one bracket, and then x plus 3 into another bracket. Is that okay? Okay, and this is our very last example. So if by now you've understood what you're doing, have a go at this. But please be careful, there are 2 negative terms here. So again, that's how a quadratic expression looks like, where a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is your constant. So step 1, we'll identify a, b, and c. So a is 4, b is -4, be careful, and c is -3. We then want our AC. AC will be 4 times -3, which is -12, and b is -4. So this time I'm not going to go through the list of all the factors of -12, etc. It's going to be -6 and +2. -6 times +2, you agree it's -12, so it does give us the -12 that we want. And then -6 plus 2 gives us -4. Okay, and this is why you need to be confident with multiplication tables and negative numbers. Right, next step, we are then rewriting the expression 4x squared, but instead of writing -4x, we're now going to write minus 6x plus 2, it doesn't matter which order. And then don't forget the last term, -3. Next step, we then split the expression, and then we go into factorize the left-hand side and the right-hand side separately. So this will give us, so what's common between 4 and 6? The highest common factor is 2. Then x is also common to both. You are then left with 2x minus 3. Agreed? Over here, nothing is really common except for just 1, because 1 is a factor for both these terms. And then you are obviously left with 2x minus 3. And look how both brackets are still the same. And then these are the loose ones. So then finally, your final answer will be 2x plus 1. So put all the loose ones together, and then the common bracket together. And that's your final answer. Again, one way to check this is for you to expand and simplify. Okay? Any questions, please write down in the comment below, in the comment section, and let me know if there are any questions that you don't understand.